Ghana has many rivers, streams, and other water bodies. River Volta remains one of the largest and is perhaps the most important, powering Ghana's biggest hydroelectric power plant, the Akotombo Dam. Stretching over a distance of about 1,600 kilometers, the river flows from Benin through the northern, Bongahafo, eastern, and Volta regions. But the stark reality is that the river is drying up, and the consequences for the people living along it are shocking. No food, no water, no cash. What they've got is a bleak future for communities whose livelihoods depended on the massive river. In this edition of Hotline, I take you on a ride on the Volta River to understand its importance to communities along the water body and the struggles of the people. The river serves the people in many ways. The livelihoods of the young men and women here depend on it. They undertake fishing activities and operate commercial boats, transporting people across the vast river. We are on a boat ride from Devime to Adidome. These are two communities in the central town district. The ride itself is just about a 10-minute ride, and this is how most residents in the Devime community are able to make it to the district capital, Adidome, to undertake their activities when it comes to trading and all of that. Let's speak to Adam. He is actually the boat operator here. He's been doing this job for a number of years. Adam, how many years have you been doing this?
Over 13 years.
Okay, great. And how has the experience been like? Is it a profitable business venture?
Well, it's not actually profitable, but it's a means to cross to the other side.
Okay.
Yes.
When you say not profitable, what does that mean? When you say not profitable, what does that mean?
Well, you get your daily livelihood, but it's not really like you want to do something with it. But actually our people need it so that they can get to the other side of the river.
How important is this means of transport for your people compared to when they have to use the main road if they are trying to get to Adidome?
Yeah, it all boils to the cost. Yes. If they go around using the road, it's much expensive than to use this one, which is 1 cedis.
Okay, so this is 1 cedi. And
yes.
When they use the road, it costs them about how much?
About 7 cedis.
Okay.
Yes.
Achem Gilbert is a second-year junior high school student at the Mafi Devime JHS. His father is a tailor and his mother a petty trader. With 5 children to feed, it's tough for Achem's parents to shoulder his upbringing. Achem goes to school during the weekdays but operates a canoe at the weekends to make some money to support himself in school.
This Volta River helps us in many ways, but in terms of me, we used it to ride. We ride on it, and we get money to buy our school fees, to pay our extra classes fees, and other books, and we use the rest to feed ourselves.
So you carry passengers from one side of the river to another, and then you get money for that. About how much are you able to make on weekends, for example, when you do this?
About 50 Ghana cedis.
Beyond fishing, the river is crucial to agricultural production in most of the communities. In the North Tongue district of the Volta region is the Aveime Irrigation project. Heavy machinery pumps water from the Volta River over several hundreds of meters to rice and other farms in the area. The water is stored in these reservoirs for onward spread onto the farms.
Ghana Irrigation Development Authority, Aveime season. We are the pump house. The source of water is the Volta River. And over the years, have been referred to be using it, but a community-based agric line. This is our reservoir. You may call it more or less nice storage. Because we normally don't keep water inside along the distance, but as we are pumping, we get enough water here. After pumping, we distribute it by gravity. So the system we run here is pump gravity. We use electricity to pump into the reservoir. Then from here, at this elevation, it's higher water to go south and north.
Here in the Veima community, they see the Volta Lake as a savior, all being that, for example, the water you see in the background that has wet the ground is not coming from a rain-fed source. It's water that has been pumped directly from the Volta River several kilometers away, and that's what they use to water their plants. And this allows them to increase their yield and to get their planting done all year round without depending on the rain. Well, this is the benefit that the Volta Lake is providing for residents in this community.
I'm Deborah Samuel, the project manager for Aveme Irrigation Scheme. You know, before the irrigation facility were put back in track, the farmers were doing a rain-fed irrigation. And with that one, you can't really predict your yield, and the timing of cropping was very difficult. But after the government rehabilitated the irrigation facility from 2011, the farmers can plant on time, they can harvest on time, yield is always good. In fact, we can even plant 3 times a year for a serious irrigation facility. And we don't depend on anyone so far as we have our input. Currently, we have about 94 farmers working now under this irrigation facility. We hope by the end of the year, we want to expand the farm and engage more farmers. Aside the farm, we have the villagers also who depend on this water for their livelihood, for washing, for drinking, and for other stuff.
I'm CK Alote. I'm a farmer on this project. You know, we don't so much rely on the rainfall water. You know, we have time for the rainfall. But with the irrigation, you know, anytime you want water, you need water for irrigation, it is there. When you ask for it, it is given to you. The water is pumped into your farm direct.
It's not only communities along the river that have benefited hugely from this water body. The biggest contribution of the River Volta to Ghana's development has certainly been the construction of the Akosombo Dam, which supplies more than 1,600 megawatts of power to meet the country's energy needs. But that is where the positive story turns sour.
It's because of the Akosombo Dam. Yes, so once they close it, the current that flows with the river is no more flowing. So it allows the weeds to grow. Yes, and then sometimes the flood is not coming. If the flood comes, it covers the weeds and they die into the river. Yes, since that is not happening, of course they will grow. And that is what is affecting us.
For some communities in the lower Volta areas, the construction of this dam has brought more trouble than delight, virtually snuffing their livelihoods out. The construction of the Akosombo Dam has reduced the current flow downstream. According to the Volta River Authority, the water used to flow at 11,000 cubic meters per second before the construction of the dam, but that has dropped to 7,000 cubic meters per second. In some parts, it's become stagnant. The result is reduced catch for residents who rely on the water body for fishing activities. It's also endangering transportation on the river.
Well, it's really bad because it's affecting fishing business. You see, as you can see, you see that the fishes hide under the weeds, so they will not come out. And that has affected the fishing business. Where that small tributes that we pass before meeting or joining the main lake, you see that it's closing up. And sometimes we have to use manpower, cutlass, to trim the distance to create the path.
Those times we were kids. We normally come to the riverside and maybe somebody will call you and dash you a fish because he is having abundance. But these days, you come here even scarcely before you get fish to buy. Because we asked them, they say, because of the grasses along the river has make a hiding place for the fish, and then they always hide there. They don't get much these days.
100-kilometer stretch of the Volta River has been affected by this problem. Fishing is thus becoming less lucrative, a situation which is forcing many of the young people out of work. The problem is bigger than just reduced fish catch and unsafe transportation on the Volta River. I paid a visit to Devime in the central Tong district of the Volta region. It used to be a fishing community, but not anymore. Before the 1960s, a tributary of the Volta River used to run through this community. It was called Agbanobu, meaning we are alive because of this water body. The Agbanobu tributary was about 4 miles long and 30 yards wide. Residents relied on the water body for their livelihoods and transportation, but not anymore.
Now our children don't know how to swim.
Oh, very clean water. That's where we fetch all our water.
Yeah. A nice stream, flowing. Oh. Hey.
Lawson Moreau is catechist of the local Presbyterian church at Devime. He used to be a fisherman, relying on that for money to feed his family.
Formerly, when there was no dam, like Akosombo Dam, things were very possible for us in our community, especially this lake by name Agbanobu. We do casting, sending of nets, hooking, so we can get feed for sale for our foodstuffs. But after the Akosombo Dam, nothing again. So we are in difficulties. Rather praying to God to help us.
Okay. So before the construction of the Akosombo Dam, how did this place look like? Just paint a mental picture for us.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. This lake was very clear.
No As in the area that we see all the grasses here,
no grasses.
It did not...
No grasses. Very, very clear. So when we come, we can get fish. Latest by 30 minutes, you get plenty of fish for sale and for your foodstuffs.
Following the construction of the Akosombo Dam, the Agbanobu tributary has become stagnant, and weeds have taken over, becoming a breeding ground for reptiles.
It has served as a breeding place for these reptiles, like these pythons. Even last week, a very big python was killed just by the school over there. There are crocodiles and other predators in this, which serve as a danger to the life of the people living around the stream.
It's a big struggle for the people here.
This stream is the stream we have been using some years back. Then it was flowing. We use it to go to, we use a canoe on it to Adido, Sogakope and other places downstream. But because of the construction of this Akosombo Dam, the water has stopped flowing. So it makes the stream to block with the weeds. Our men also use it for fishing. They are fishermen here. But because of this, as it has blocked, there are no more fishing on it.
What kind of fishes did you used to get from this?
Tilapia, mudfish, and others. Many kinds. The sources of income has stopped. As you see, they can use the canoe on it to fish.
That's Comfort Gakpo. She was born in this community. She and her parents used to rely on this water body for drinking, washing, and other household chores. Now they need to walk over very long distances to get access to clean water.
We have been drinking it, but at the season we cannot use it for drinking, nor cooking. You have to look at it yourself. We are no more using it. We have to go far away to fetch water. About, I may say, 2 kilometers away. You go there and see it yourself. You have to go there and fetch water.
But previously it wasn't so?
No. It wasn't so. Oh, it was a nice stream flowing. If people come here, they use this place as a tourism center. As you have come here, to come and be looking at it. Very nice. It was nice. But now you cannot see the water again. It's down.
That's not all. Education in this community has been badly affected. As headmaster of the Devime MA school, Muhammad Isa explains, most parents have abandoned the community in search of greener pastures elsewhere, leaving their children to fend for themselves.
Very, very bad, because as I'm speaking now, there are some children in my school whose parents, because of hardship in the community, they left the community to the lakeside. They normally call it Jigbeyeji area, where the Volta River is for a livelihood over there. Yeah, which makes it very difficult for some of the school children to even get something to eat to come to school.
When the weeds started growing in the river in the 70s, Lawson tells me they made efforts to clear them, but they became overwhelmed, and this is the result. They want government to step in with heavy machinery.
We are just praying to God to help us one day, especially to bring to let it be clear to the government to clear off the grasses from the lake for us.
The situation is same in many other communities through which the Volta River used to run. I pay a visit to Mafia Clamado, another former fishing community. As 70-year-old traditional leader Gershon Kofi Gisenu explains, the river which used to pass through this community was not only a source of fishing, but also occasionally flooded the lands around the community to help crops develop.
This place was once a very big, deep river with so many kinds of fish in this river. It was our livelihood. It brings income. Even before I was born, some 70 years back, before I've come to the limelight, I've seen this river was full of fish. It is here where our fathers fish and feed their family. When it overflows its bank during the rain season, June, July, August, it overflowed its banks. And when we farm here, by 6 months' time, cassava, vegetables, you see them coming up, and it gives food to the people in the community, as well as the river full of fish. It makes our people not to travel outside this place to get money. But now, since the Akosombo Dam was constructed, 1963, by that time I was in middle school Form 2. They dammed the river. That was the last flood we have seen. From that time up to now, there was no flood. So the weeds started growing. Then it has become a complete land now. Though the water is under the grass is so thick that you can walk on it now.
This bridge used to sit over the river, and the entire area you see used to be portions of the water body that no longer exists. More than 10 communities in the area have been affected by the situation. Gershon says the problem is a major contributory factor to deepening poverty in most communities along the Volta River.
Though we have benefited from the dam some way, in fact, we are suffering. The people in the lower Volta are actually suffering because we have lost all our natural resources, which is fish and fertile land. So the poverty level has become so high in our town, this part of town, very, very high. That is why we cannot stay at home. The few who manage to stay here are in complete poverty.
The majority of the population in Mafia Clamado now consists of mainly children and the elderly. The young people have abandoned the area to go look for alternative sources of livelihood. Assembly member for the area, Godfred Oscar, is worried about the problem.
One thing that we always forget is the mass exodus of our youth from these communities to the urban centers and other busy areas, because there is nothing they can do after their basic education. They usually go to look for greener pastures. So that is one of, so if you come through the communities, you see that it's made up of grown-ups or old ladies and old men living with their granddaughters, and the youth, mostly they are away.
The assembly member wants government to help them dredge the weeds from the water body. He says several alternative job opportunities can be created once that is done.
It will be of a massive help. First, we can use the water for irrigation farming. Now that the rain pattern is not good, I think we can use it for irrigation farming. And especially when it is drenched, we can also use it for fishing, even for tilapia fish farming. Since it is not flowing, I think that will be the best business which can employ people. And I hope through that, the youth can also come back to be employed.
The Volta River Authority has supported communities along the Volta River over the years to clear the aquatic weeds. It runs a project known as the Lower Volta Dredging Project. It combines the use of chemicals and mechanical means to deal with the weeds in the water. Ulysses Okranhamon is in charge of the project.
We have a dredger in Adan. We've been operating for the 26th year. But the cost of doing all these interventions is taking a toll on the Volta River Authority. So because of that, the VRA has introduced a project, this Lower Volta Dredging and Aquatic Weed Harvesting Project. This project is going through the procurement phase at this stage. We have done an international competitive bidding. We have finished the first stage of the project. The idea is to bring private sector into the aquatic weed harvesting and the Lower Volta Dredging Project. Because when we dredge, we allow seawater upstream into the river. The plants in the Lower Volta are typically fresh water. So when you have seawater of salinity 4 to 6, it kills them. It also kills the behavior snails, the snails that causes behavior. So by bringing on this project and having the requisite private sector companies with the technical know-how, with the weed harvesters and the dredgers, we are going to ensure effective dredging, and we are going to do mechanical harvesting of these weeds.
The early settlers built communities on the island and along the river in areas where they could have bumper harvest. Siamekope is one such island. I round up my tour with a visit to this community. About 100 people live here. There is no electricity, no clean sources of drinking water, no health post, no school, among others. The residents are not happy about government inability to provide them with basic amenities here.
It's like their main problem here is what? Canoe or engine boat and lights we provided for the students to be learning at night. Yeah, he's saying since the extension of the grid over here will be a problem, if they get something like solar panel and which can generate electricity for them, so that they can also use to read and then charge their phones and do other things with it.
They need electricity because the night. So what you see here, the whole place is very dark. I think it's very bad. These scorpions and snakes, they are all over. So I think if they have light, whenever those animals, whenever they are coming, maybe they will see them. And then it will help their kids to study in the night. I think they need electricity.
Residents seeking healthcare, children seeking education, and women needing household items would have to make the journey over the river without life jackets to get to town. Kowyao is a fisherman.
If you know which water Me opa canoe small 1 year later. You don't know if you're at school play or kochi.
He's saying that the children normally cross to Adidome to attend school. They use those small canoes even without life jackets, which is posing danger to the children's life. And even when they fall sick, it's the same means, those small canoes. That's what they do. The one they use the paddles with, yeah.
Yeah, if like any politician, I have give if like any dakone,
He said politicians have been coming, anything they tell them, they will say they hear. But when they leave after voting, they will never hear of them again. They normally go to Adidome vote. They cross here and go to Adidome vote. But when the politicians need them, the politicians cross and come here, purposely because of them. But after the voting, they don't hear anything again.
For the residents of Siamakopa, without the Volta River, they have no life at all. They pray that the promised efforts to save the lower Volta from drying further yields positive results, or their communities may go extinct too. For Hotline, Joseph Opokugapo reporting.